Emily's alarm rang at 4:30 a.m., a shrill reminder that sleep was a luxury she couldn't afford. She rolled out of bed, careful not to wake her son, Noah, who slept curled up with his toy rocket ship. She paused for a moment, brushing her hand across his forehead. He looked so peaceful, so innocent. She wished she could freeze time, just stay here with him, safe and warm. But bills didn't wait. By 5 o'clock, Emily was already in her diner uniform, serving steaming coffee to bleary-eyed regulars. By noon, she was stacking shelves in a grocery store. And by evening, she pulled on the black and white outfit of a cafe worker, balancing trays with aching arms. 3 jobs, every single day. Her feet blistered, her back screamed, but she never allowed herself to complain. "Mommy, are you done soon?" Noah asked softly one evening, his wide eyes looking up from his crayons in the cafe's corner. "Almost, sweetheart," Emily said, forcing a tired smile. She slid a cup of warm milk in front of him and kissed his messy curls. He never whined. At 5 years old, Noah already knew his mother was fighting every day for him. That knowledge broke Emily's heart more than the exhaustion ever could, because there was a secret buried deep inside her chest. A secret that explained why she had to do it all alone. Noah's father didn't even know he existed. 5 years earlier, Emily had been just another wide-eyed intern at Reynolds Industries, a world-class corporation run by the powerful Reynolds family. She had never expected to even meet Adrian Reynolds, the CEO's only son. He wasn't just handsome, he carried himself with the quiet confidence of someone who knew the world bent in his favor. Their first meeting had been clumsy. She dropped a mountain of files in the archive room, and he crouched down to help her gather them. She expected arrogance, maybe a teasing remark, but instead he said, "Don't worry, happens to me too." She doubted he'd ever touched files in his life, but the kindness in his eyes disarmed her. One conversation led to another, then coffee, then late-night walks along the river. For one summer, they built a secret world of laughter, confessions, and stolen kisses. Adrian listened to her dreams as if they mattered. Emily, for the first time, felt like she belonged in someone's heart. But reality crashed in too soon. Adrian's family had plans, business deals, an arranged engagement, expectations bigger than either of them. When he was sent to London to manage the European branch, their whirlwind romance ended abruptly. A week later, Emily found out she was pregnant. She had written Adrian a letter, pouring out her heart and confessing everything. But when she went to deliver it, she overheard his parents talking in the office. Adrian must stay focused, no distractions, his future is too important. Emily froze, clutching the envelope. In that moment, fear consumed her. She saw clearly what would happen if his powerful family found out. Her child would either be taken from her, or Adrian would be forced into a life he hadn't chosen. She couldn't risk it. With trembling hands, she tore the letter into pieces and walked away. From then on, it was just her and the tiny life growing inside her. Present day, Emily thought she'd buried the past for good. But fate never stayed buried. One morning, her manager asked her to cover a corporate event for extra pay. She hesitated. She had promised Noah they'd go to the park, but the rent notice on her counter made the decision for her. The next day, she arrived at a gleaming skyscraper with catering trays in hand. She told herself it was just another job. Keep her head down, serve, leave. But then she saw him. Adrian Reynolds. Tall, commanding, impossibly handsome in a tailored suit. His boyish charm had hardened into authority, but his presence still stole the air from her lungs. Panic clawed at her chest. She turned, hoping to vanish into the crowd. But his voice, deep, familiar, unforgettable, stopped her cold. "Emily." She froze. Her tray shook in her hands. Slowly, she turned. "Adrian," she whispered. Shock crossed his face. "It's been 5 years. You disappeared. No calls, nothing. Why?" Her throat tightened. "I had my reasons." She tried to walk away, but his hand brushed her arm, gently but firmly stopping her. Then his gaze shifted, and locked on Noah. The boy sat at a corner table, humming softly to himself as he colored. Adrian's eyes widened. He looked at Noah, then at her, then back again. The resemblance was undeniable. The same dark eyes, the same stubborn jaw. Adrian's breath caught. His voice shook with disbelief, then anger. "Emily, who is he?" She didn't answer. She couldn't. Her silence was louder than words. Adrian's world tilted. His voice rose, raw and trembling. "Why didn't you tell me I'm a father?" Collision of worlds. They sat in a quiet office later, the noise of the gala muffled outside. Adrian's gaze never left Noah, who was dozing on the couch with his toy rocket clutched in his hands. Emily twisted her fingers together. I wanted to tell you. But your family, they made it clear you had responsibilities. I didn't want to ruin your future. My future, Adrian snapped, struggling to keep his voice down. Emily, you stole my son's future with his father. Do you know how many years I've lost? His first steps, his first words, his voice broke. Tears burned her eyes. I did what I thought was best. You had an engagement, a whole life planned out. I never loved her, Adrian cut in sharply. His eyes softened when he looked at Noah again. If I had known, nothing could have kept me away from him. You. Silence fell. For the first time, Emily let herself imagine what it would have been like, if she hadn't walked away, if they had faced it together. But reality was still cruel. Adrian, she whispered, Noah is happy. I've kept him safe. Please don't let your family take him from me. Adrian's head snapped toward her. Take him, Emily, I'm not here to take him away. I'm here to be his father. I will fight for him, yes, but not against you. With you. Her chest ached. You don't understand. I don't fit into your world. I'm a waitress juggling 3 jobs. Your family will never accept me. Adrian leaned forward, his voice low but fierce. Then I'll choose him. I'll choose you. I've spent years living for my family's expectations. No more. I won't lose my son because of them. Emily blinked back tears. For the first time in years, she saw not the powerful CEO, but the young man who had once held her hand under the stars and whispered promises. A new beginning. The days that followed were messy. Adrian wanted to be part of Noah's life immediately. He showed up at the cafe, at the diner, even at the grocery store, sometimes just to walk Emily and Noah home. At first, Noah eyed him shyly, but soon, laughter bridged the years. Adrian sat cross-legged on the floor, helping Noah build rocket ships from cardboard boxes. One evening, as Noah proudly showed Adrian his drawing of a superhero family, complete with a caped mom, a suited dad, and a little boy between them, Emily's heart cracked open. Maybe, just maybe, this was possible. But the Reynolds family wasn't blind. When word reached Adrian's parents, they summoned him. Emily braced for the storm, expecting threats, legal battles, everything she had once feared. But Adrian stood firm. This is my son, and Emily is the woman I love. If you can't accept that, then I'll walk away from Reynolds Industries. I'll build my own path, with them. His father's fury was palpable, but even he knew Adrian meant it. For the first time, Adrian had chosen his own future. Epilogue. Months later, Emily woke on a Saturday morning to the smell of pancakes. She padded into the kitchen to find Noah perched on the counter, giggling as Adrian flipped a misshapen pancake. Batter dotted Adrian's shirt, and Noah's face was smeared with chocolate. Mommy, Daddy says this one's shaped like a rocket. Noah laughed. Emily froze, the word sinking in. Daddy. Adrian glanced at her, his eyes soft. He said it himself this morning. First time. Tears welled in her eyes. For years, she had carried the burden alone, convinced she had made the right choice by keeping her secret. But seeing them together, she finally let herself believe in a different ending. She stepped into Adrian's arms, resting her head against his chest as Noah waved his pancake triumphantly. For the first time in years, Emily didn't feel tired. She felt whole. And Adrian, holding them both, whispered against her hair. You'll never have to do this alone again. Emily's alarm rang at 4:30 a.m., the same shrill sound that had been waking her for years. She rolled out of bed, careful not to disturb her 5-year-old son, Noah, who was curled up under a blanket, clutching his toy rocket ship. She brushed her hand over his hair and whispered, "Sleep, sweetheart. Mommy has to go." By 5, she was serving coffee in a diner uniform. By noon, she stacked shelves in a grocery store. By evening, she slipped into her cafe apron, balancing trays with weary arms. 3 jobs, 7 days a week. Her feet blistered, her back ached, but she carried it all with one thought: Noah deserved better. Mommy, are you done soon? Noah asked softly one evening, looking up from his crayons in the cafe's corner. Almost, Emily said, sliding a cup of warm milk in front of him. He never whined, never complained. At just 5 years old, he already knew his mother was fighting battles most children couldn't imagine. And deep inside, Emily carried the secret of why she was alone. Noah's father didn't even know he existed. 5 years earlier, Emily had been an intern at Reynolds Industries when she met Adrian Reynolds, the CEO's son. He wasn't just handsome, he had a kindness she hadn't expected from someone who lived in privilege. Their summer romance was full of laughter, secrets, and promises whispered under the stars. But Adrian's family had already planned his future, business deals, an engagement, responsibilities too heavy for him to escape. When he was sent to London to run the European branch, Emily's world collapsed. A week later, she learned she was pregnant. She wrote Adrian a letter, intending to tell him. But when she arrived at his father's office, she overheard his parents talking. Adrian must not be distracted. His career is everything. Fear gripped her. If they knew, they'd take the child, or force Adrian into a life he didn't choose. Trembling, she tore the letter and walked away. She decided she would raise Noah alone. Present day, Emily thought she had buried that past for good, until fate dragged her straight back into it. Her cafe manager asked her to help at a big corporate gala. She almost refused. She had promised Noah a trip to the park, but the rent notice waiting at home made her say yes. The next morning, Emily stepped into the glass building with a catering tray in her hands. She told herself it was just another job. Serve, smile, leave. Then she saw him, Adrian Reynolds, tall, commanding, devastating in a tailored suit. His boyish charm had matured into the authority of a man who ran empires. Her heart thundered. She turned quickly, hoping to vanish into the crowd. But his voice, deep, familiar, froze her. Emily, she stopped. Slowly, she turned. Shock filled his face. It's been 5 years. You vanished. Why? Her throat closed. I had my reasons. She tried to walk past, but his hand brushed her arm. Then his gaze shifted. Noah sat at a corner table, coloring quietly. Adrian's eyes widened. He looked at the boy, then at her, then back again. The resemblance was undeniable. Adrian's voice cracked, heavy with disbelief and betrayal. Emily, why didn't you tell me I'm a father? End of part 1, approximately 750 words. Part 2. The world seemed to freeze around them. The music from the gala dulled, the chatter faded. Adrian's eyes locked on Noah, his chest rising and falling unevenly. Emily's lips trembled. Adrian, please, not here. Minutes later, they sat in a private office. Noah, oblivious, dozed on the couch with his toy rocket tucked against his chest. Adrian sat across from Emily, his gaze stormy but fixed on the boy. I missed 5 years of his life, Adrian whispered, his voice breaking. His first steps, his first words, all of it. Why? Emily's throat ached. I was scared. Your family made it clear your future couldn't have distractions. I thought they'd take him away. I thought I'd lose him. I didn't want to ruin your life. Adrian's jaw clenched. My life, Emily, my life is him. And you kept him from me. His hand raked through his hair. You should have trusted me. Tears welled in her eyes. I did what I thought was best. Silence stretched between them, heavy with years of unspoken words. Finally, Adrian exhaled and looked at her with a mixture of pain and determination. I can't change the past. But I will be part of his future. Nothing will stop me. Emily shook her head. Your family, my family doesn't decide this, he said firmly. I do, and I won't let them, or anyone, keep me from my son. A father's love. Adrian threw himself into Noah's life with a fierceness that surprised even Emily. He showed up at the cafe, the diner, the grocery store, wherever Emily worked, just to walk them home. At first, Noah was shy. But soon, the walls crumbled. Adrian helped him build cardboard rockets, taught him how to throw a ball, listened to endless stories about superheroes. Noah's laughter filled spaces that had once been weighed down by exhaustion. One night, as Noah proudly showed Adrian a drawing of a superhero family, mom in a cape, dad in a suit, a little boy between them, Emily felt her heart fracture and heal at the same time. The storm. It didn't take long for the Reynolds family to find out. Adrian's parents summoned him, furious. You have responsibilities. This woman will drag you down. That child is my son, Adrian cut in coldly. If you can't accept that, then I'll walk away from Reynolds Industries. I'll build my own future, with them. Emily expected threats, even legal battles. But Adrian stood his ground. For the first time, he wasn't the obedient heir. He was a father. Healing. It wasn't easy. Emily struggled to let herself trust again. Years of doing it alone had hardened her, taught her never to lean on anyone. But every time she faltered, Adrian was there, steady, patient, unwavering. And Noah had started calling him, Dad. One Saturday morning, Emily woke to the smell of pancakes. She padded into the kitchen to find Noah on the counter, giggling as Adrian flipped a misshapen pancake. Mommy, Noah shouted, Daddy says this one looks like a rocket. Emily froze at the word. Daddy. Adrian's eyes met hers, soft, shining. He said it this morning, Adrian murmured. Emily stepped closer, her chest tight. For so long, she had carried the burden alone, convinced she'd done the right thing by keeping her secret. But seeing them together, she finally let herself believe in something she hadn't dared to hope for, a family. Adrian drew her close, pressing a kiss to her hair as Noah raised his pancake triumphantly. You'll never have to do this alone again, Adrian whispered. And this time, Emily believed him.